Good morning, students. Once more, myself Kamal Nath. I welcome you all in the class of my English. This week, we are doing revision for class test 2, and this is the second part of the revision of English, in which I am going to discuss today some important questions, some very interesting questions from the poems. As you know, there are 2 poems, the part of the exam, and in the last video, I discussed from the 2 stories, different types of questions in the video, and during online class, I added some more questions. So let us see what is today the questions, some of the interesting questions, important questions that you should keep in your mind, you should remember. Although there is nothing important, everything very essential, whole part. As always, I suggest you to go through whole chapter, whole poem, and read every part that is discussed, that is given to you during the classes to learn. So let us see in the exercises and what questions are here. First of all, some questions we are going to discuss from the poem Wandering Singers. You remember this poem? You know very well what is in the poem. This is the poem composed by Sarojini Naidu, and Sarojini Naidu is a very well known, very famous, very honorable figure in our country, who had been a great freedom fighter as well, who had a great contribution in Indian politics, and she was a very, very famous and good writer as well. So let us see from the poem some questions that we have to discuss. Which line tells you that the singers sing as they travel? Here you have to tell the particular line, the line that tells that the singers sing while they are traveling. So the answer will be, and you remember, you have no doubt revised and read several times the poem, so you know that, you remember that third line of first stanza of the poem, that is, with lutes in our hands, ever singing we roam. That is the third line of first stanza. With lutes in our hands, ever singing we roam, tells that the singers sing as they travel, as they are walking, as they are moving from one city to other, one village to other, or from forest. Their sound is echoing, and they always sing while they are traveling. Another question. The wandering singers have no permanent homes and families. We have read in the poem very elaborately, very minutely, that they do not tell that the particular person is their family member or any particular place they are deeply attached. Do they show any sadness about it? If they don't have any permanent homes or families, do they show any sadness about it? Or do they have a different notion? Notion is opinion. Do they have their different opinion of a family and home? This is the question. There are 2 parts of the question. Let us see one by one. Although the wandering singers do not have any permanent home or family, they do not show any sadness or regret for it. They do not feel sad. They do not express any sadness for that. These people believe that all human beings are their family members and whole world is their home. This is the notion about people and about the world. About every human being, they thought that they all are. Every human being is their family members. And entire earth, entire globe is the home. These wandering singers do not make any difference among humans or lands, that this particular land is ours, I am attached to this particular place or these people, not at all. For these wandering singers, whole world is their family, every human being is their family members. So they feel a strong bond with everyone, and at home everywhere, just anywhere and everywhere. Let us see some other question. Why do wandering singers not wait anywhere? Why do they keep traveling? The wandering singers do not wait anywhere because no specific bond or emotional relationship make them to stay on at any particular and so particular them to stay on at any particular place. No particular place, no particular people really make them force, and may compel them to stay one place. As earlier also I told in the previous question that whole world is their home and every human being is their family members. Their happiness is not associated with a particular place or people where they might have to wait. The free movements of the wind call them to follow their way. The sound of the wind feels like the voice of singers calling out to them to travel from town to town, village to village and street to street. So they keep moving from place to place. It's very clear. You must have understood why these people, these singers that is mentioned in this poem, do not wait anywhere, any particular place. That is the question. That was the question. Why do they keep traveling? Now let us see another poem that is also the part for your exam. A sea of foliage. Let us see. This poem describes a garden at two different times. What are those times? What are those times? Two times that is mentioned. What are those two times that the poem describes a garden? And how do you know? The poem describes this garden two times. First, at the daytime, when the beauty and color of trees look natural. And second time, in the night, when the moonlight changes the beauty of color and makes the sense or just extraordinary, completely different. We know because the poetess describes the beauty of foliage in two different looks and appeals to see these differences. Here, very obviously, in the poem also, while I was explaining you the poem, I had explained that the poetess is explaining or describing the beauty of her garden in two different ways, with two different angles. First, to see at the daytime when the sunlight falls and the garden appears in its natural color. Second time at night when there is a moonlight and the moonlight transforms the color. Completely the scene is changed, and that is also very attractive scene to see. Next question is, why does the speaker consider the scene among the bamboos the loveliest spot in the garden? That's the question. First question. Why does the speaker consider the scene among the bamboos the loveliest spot in the garden? What effect does the beauty have on her? The scene among the bamboos is the loveliest spot because the beautiful silver moon peeps between the tall grey bamboos and shines dazzling on white lotuses, several lotuses that is in the pool, glowing in the pool. when the moonlight shines, falls on the lotuses, different lotuses in the pool. This beautiful sight is so intoxicating that the poet feels drunk. She feels dizzy with the amazing beauty of the sea. And that is the reason that she almost feels dizzy. I am sure that you must have understood. Here another question is here. This poem asks us to look all around the garden, not only from the side, to another, but also from high above to down low, below. How does it do that? This poem asks to look around the garden from one side to another, as it points at the different trees standing side by side, from the tamarind, which has really a light green color, and the mango, which has a deep green color, to the simuls. It also begins by saying that the foliage surrounds the garden, the greenery surrounds the garden on all sides, so that to see the foliage, see the greenery, and we have to look all around to see the beauty of the garden. So these two poems, The Wandering Singers and Sea of Foliage, both of them are so interesting, so charming, that no doubt fascinates our attraction and enchants our sense. So these questions are all very important for all of you students, and I hope that you must have written all question answers of these two exercises. You must have learned, and once more you revise nicely. Thank you students very much. Thank you being with me.